and welcome once again to UOCTV, the student-run show just for the University of Cumbria. And as always, I'm Vinay Street.
And since I haven't changed my name yet, I am still Paul Kemp.
Good, I like your name.
Thank you.
It's been a while, but we know how much you'd like to see all your favourite presenting duo together. So here we are, back in action for the very last time.
Which sadly means that this is the last episode for UOCTV this year.
Yeah, but let's not stop feeling down, because as ever, we've got a great show lined up for you, and if we're being honest, we've got some fantastically charismatic gentlemen to present it.
We most definitely have. So let's kick off the party and see what's happening on today's show. We speak to the man behind one of the most outrageous women in town, Miss Creme BruLay.
Spoiler alert, our resident film critics Chris and James return one last time to give us their take on Star Trek Into Darkness.
Our very own head honcho David Barker joins us in the studio to talk about all things UOCTV.
We take a look back at some of the highlights of our first year in business.
And then it's that absolute stunner, Tom Dorsett, with our What's On segment.
Now, while this is our very last time together here on UOCTV, the shop's not shutting up altogether, and if you're a keen viewer of the show, and let's face it, who isn't, maybe Barack Obama, then you'll have probably noticed a few new faces appearing recently.
First of all, we brought on that titan, Tom Dorsett, and then we introduce you to our fine successors, Chris and Stephanie.
Yeah, so just to assure you that we're leaving you in safe hands, we thought we would begin this episode by showcasing some of our finest emerging talent.
That beautiful woman, Stephanie Kiewel, that's been sat on the sofa with us here, isn't just a pretty face, she is also a talented filmmaker.
She is indeed, and for her latest project she made a documentary about drag queen Crème BruLay, the hostess of Carlisle's nightclub. Outrageous.
Let's have a look at what she came up with.
Yeah.
My name is James, I'm 24. I work as a cellar manager in Carlisle, but I'm more famously known as the hostess, Miss Crème BruLay. Drag for me is both performance, it's entertainment, and it's a job as well. And it takes over your home life, it takes over your spare time as well. So at the end of the day, it's almost a life choice. Drag can have barriers and reactions from people. A lot of straight guys, especially manly straight guys, they don't like it because all they see is some guy in a dress ready to touch their cocks, or they just think that, you know, they're gods, that these people want them. But it's not like that at the end of the day. For us, it's a job.
Give it kisses, don't you worry, it doesn't bite. I just love a great orgasm. And though it's true, I always get laid.
The difference between a drag queen and a transsexual, a drag queen dresses up for a job. They're here and they will entertain people. But a transsexual, they do it for a way of life. They feel psychologically that they are a woman trapped inside a man's body. That's not me. I am a drag queen. I do this for a job. Once 4 o'clock in the morning hits, I'm back to a man and I go about my daily life. Becoming a drag queen, you're creating two different personalities. You're trying to switch off from one and then switch on another. And especially after work, you find it hard to switch off. There is a lot of consequences from doing drag, especially with tucking. You spend most of the night peeing a lot, and it's quite painful to start off with, but you get used to it. I mean, it is a lot of work from your spare time getting ready. I mean, my personal experience is taking 2 hours to get ready, making costumes off the clock. I love doing drag in Carlisle because when I moved here there wasn't really much of a scene, and as this venue, Outrageous, has opened, you're beginning to find it's becoming more open, and I love being here just watching it grow, because here I feel like I'm able to do something within the community, whether it's charity events or just helping people understand what a drag queen is.
And that was only the shortened version of the film. If you want to see the full cut, you can do so using the link below.
You can indeed. And now, as you know, and we mentioned it numerous times, this is our final show. And so we feel it's only fitting to bring all of the leading contributors back for one last hooray.
Our film critics Chris and James have been popping up from time to time on the show. So it's only fair that we give them one final send-off.
Yeah. And they still seem to be lost somewhere in the film world. I'm not quite sure where, but with warp speed, they managed to watch the new release Star Trek Into Darkness. So here's what they have to say about that.
Hello and welcome to We Like Films. I'm Chris McGeorge and this is
James Norfolk.
And today we are talking about Star Trek Into Darkness, James.
Darkness is coming.
Star Trek Into Darkness picks up roughly maybe a year after the events of the first film. We find the crew of Enterprise having hijinks on a brightly coloured planet with all these people covered in mud. They look like they're made of mud. And Kirk somehow convinces them he's their god, gets booted from the Federation in response to this, and goes all moody. Ends up serving as a first officer, and then mysterious signals come from another planet. And then a terrorist shows up.
I request permission to go after him.
I cannot allow you to do this.
If you go see this film, you'll notice that whenever Benedict Cumberbatch shouts or screams or "You should have let me sleep" or something like that, his face morphs into that of a dragon. Whereas his nose gets bigger and his mouth gets bigger and his skin stretches and everything. I don't know, part of me thinks they've manipulated his face digitally. There's no human face can stretch in that manner.
Shall we begin?
The Federation is kind of well known for having colour-coded uniforms, like a Dulux paint chart. And Star Wars, you'll get uniforms in white, black or grey, if you're on the baddie team. But J.J. Abrams, and his art director, presumably, has kind of melded the two together, as if he's subtly saying to you, this is what all science fiction is going to look like from now on.
Definitely looks nice,
Yeah,
and
gotcha.
it sounds nice. The music is amazing.
The laser fights are cool. I mean, Star Trek laser fights have always been the most boring laser fights in the history of science fiction, with two people stood awkwardly from each other going and then another one going back as they miss each other with a gun that shoots in a straight fucking line. But the new ones are all whizzy and pingy and everything's flying everywhere and they're kinetic and it's amazing. It's like, it's modern, it's cool.
So that was Star Trek Into Darkness, and I'm afraid that was our last review, wasn't it, James?
Yes, the last, well, until someone else sticks a camera in front of us and asks us to talk about something in the distant future.
That's true, but that'll probably be at court.
Yeah.
So yeah, We Like Films may well continue,
Yes.
but without me or him.
Tell the next bastard you hate him, it'll make me feel good.
Yeah.
Now, we all like a bit of shameless self-promotion here at UOCTV, so if you can't get enough of those lovable hunks Chris and James, check them out on Twitter. Their details shall be below.
Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that because we do such a fantastic job presenting here on UOCTV, that the show just slots together seamlessly, ready for you to enjoy it whenever you want.
But we do in fact have a dedicated behind-the-scenes team working to make sure that we give you the best show we possibly can.
And so, with this being the final episode of this year, and, you know, I hate mentioning it again, but the final episode for me and Paul, we thought we'd bring you the head of operations here at UOCTV in front of the camera for once. How exciting.
I'm really excited for this. I think you are as well.
I am, yeah.
So let's welcome, without further ado, David Barker.
Oh, yeah.
Yes!
Thank
This
you, Paul.
guy. David, welcome to the show. Finally,
Welcome.
in front of the camera.
If we can talk at the beginning, just how did it all start? Like, where did the idea come from? How did you get involved in it?
Around this time last year, my tutor, Michael Mitchell, came to me and a couple of other people said that this was something that he wanted to happen. He wanted a student TV show to happen, and he'd said to me that, you know, you're someone who gets things done, you know, can you take charge of it? And so I agreed to do it. I thought it seemed like an interesting project, and we just brought a few other people on board, made sort of a management team, and then just took it from there. Started looking at, when we came back in September, we started looking at what we could film. And then we got a couple of VTs together, shot the first studio episode, and it's just sort of rolled on from there, really.
What was the initial plan?
Well, we always wanted it to be a magazine show. We'd envisioned a 30-minute slot, and then when it came to the practicalities of making that, we realised that was too much. It required too many different things, and things needed to run a lot shorter than that. From the first show to now, it's pretty much, it's the same sort of essence. We've just refined it over the times. But I think, you know, it was just a magazine show of a couple of items tied together in the studio, and I think that's fundamentally stayed the same throughout the year.
Now, looking back, because like obviously you worked about a year now on the show, can you maybe share maybe the funniest or the weirdest moment that happened to you while you were working on the show?
We were filming the Carlisle Fire Show. We were still looking for interviews around the carnival, and all of a sudden there was like a gang of about 10, 15 school kids just came and sort of mobbed us all for a bit.
There was one point I can remember where this massive group of travellers, they were children, and they were like, "Oh, he'll fight you any day." And I'm like, "Well, that's good. I don't want to fight." He's like, and he prodded me in the stomach, "When you'll have to do a bit of training first, but he'll fight you any day." And I'm like, "Well, that's not why I'm here." But yeah, that was a good memory. If you could go back and do it all again, what would you do differently?
One of the sort of disappointing aspects for me is we've not been able to release a show regularly. You know, it's been here and there, it's not been weekly, which we wanted to do initially. So it's, you know, I think the main thing, if I could do it again, was to make sure we got a show out weekly.
In terms of the future of UOCTV, what can the viewers expect?
One thing that I quite like to see more of myself is more sort of sit-down interviews with big names, much like, you know, you've done with the Archbishop.
Yeah.
We want to see more competitions and things like that. We want to see more sort of short films and comedy dramas. So hopefully those are the sort of things that will be produced more within the coming years.
Who will take over your job? Who will fill your shoes?
That hasn't been decided yet. There's a couple of people interested. So, I mean, someone will definitely take over, but I think they're going to have a much more organised team, and the roles are going to be better laid out, which is something we didn't organise well enough this year. But I can't say for definite who will take over at this stage.
Oh, well.
Aye,
We're always looking forward to a nice surprise.
We are. I can speak for us when we say we'll be looking at the future. But on behalf of all the team here, David Barker,
I'd
like to thank you for all your
so
service.
Yeah.
Shake my hand, sir. David Barker, thank you very much for coming
Thank
to the
And
studio.
Good luck for the future, whatever happens next.
Yeah, David Barker, everybody. Yes! This guy.
Now, as this is our final episode, we thought that this would be an ideal opportunity to look back and remind ourselves of some of the highlights of the first year of UOCTV. And welcome to UOCTV.
Hello and welcome to UOCTV.
Hello and welcome once again to UOCTV.
Hello and welcome once again to UOCTV.
Well, I'm Paul Kemp.
And I'm Finn H.
I'm Stephanie Kiewel.
And once again, I'm Chris Robinson.
It's time you got to enjoy the true creme de la creme of the UOCTV presenting team.
You see, our department hid a camera somewhere in the room to have an eye on you, so you're on CCTV.
We're in a new studio.
I lost the studio crew. I lost the studio itself. I even lost my co-presenter. We're not in the studio.
Oh no!
This is no green screen. It took me a while to actually believe it.
Yeah, is it real?
We're House Cinema today.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. As you can see, we're already the best of friends here in the studio.
Definitely.
You know how awesome we are, and we definitely know how awesome we are.
Anyway, let's get on with the show. Let's find a seat. Let's get a seat. Good morning, it is 10:30 around in the morning, and I'm here at Sheepmount Centre in Carlisle, where we have come to check out the Great Cumbrian Run.
I'm tonight at the Brickyard on this very cold and dark December night.
John Myers, News at 10 at Waterstones in Carlisle with a bunch of drunken students.
Today we're here at Carlisle's annual farmers market, and hopefully that means there's going to be some proper good grub.
So here we are in central London, where we are joining hundreds upon hundreds of our country's student unions.
nice to come and actually be able to talk to students.
I suppose Clint Eastwood was probably one of the only people that I was kind of starstruck with.
This is just a warm-up for the rest of this season.
You guys got us deliberately just to, like, you know, for revenge, didn't you? Yeah, exactly. Mental. Going a bit crazy.
Where and how can people get hold of it?
The dog bed table in the Big Cat is on Amazon Kindle, and you can purchase it 30th of April.
If you have a really tall friend with a big coat, I'd hide in the coat and go and see it like that.
Popular Italian-American restaurant Little Frank's is closed.
On the 10th of May, the Sand Centre will be holding their annual squash tournament.
Palla's biggest indie night returns on May the 5th at the Brickyard.
Well, all good things end, and so do opening night.
Matthew, thank you very much for... Thank you very much. Speak with us, we'll let you get back on with your chaplain duty.
Thank you.
See you next week.
Good time.
I was sweet.
Check out.
I was sweet. Well, I'm going to just leave the building because I heard the police have arrived.
Bye.
Well, lots of fond memories there for all of us really here at UOCTV.
But it's not all about the past, we're also about what's happening soon.
Yeah.
Which means it's time for our What's On segment.
It is indeed. Now, when we started the segment a couple of shows ago, we brought on a new presenter, and while he's still going to be part of the show next year, so please stop screaming now, we thought it was really only right that we brought him in today.
So, for one last time, it's all for that complete legend and absolute babe magnet, Tom Dorsett. Take it away, Tommy boy.
On Friday the 31st of May and June the 1st, Stanley's here to place host to the third-year production, Edges. It addresses issues such as age, growth, love and betrayal. For more information, search Edges on Facebook. As the end of the academic year approaches, degree students will be showcasing their work. Between the 5th and 12th of June, fine arts students will be displaying their work at the Newcastle Street campus, and all other arts students will be exhibiting their work at the Brampton Road campus. On the 15th of June, Mock the Week comedian Reginald D. Hunter visits the Sand Centre with his In the Midst of Crackers tour. Doors open at 8 PM and tickets are £20 plus a booking fee. Welsh rockers Funeral for a Friend make their way to the Brickyard on the 21st of June. The band, who have a reputation for heavy riffs and screamy vocals, will be supported by Departures, and tickets are £14 and doors open at 8 PM. On the 23rd of June, Blondie brings their show to the Sand Centre, where you can expect to hear classics such as Maria, Rapture and Atomic. Doors open at 7 PM and tickets are £34. I've been Tom Dorsett and that was your final What's On guide. Back to those hogs of war, Paul and Finn in the studio. Haha!
Well, unfortunately, I don't want to say it, but it brings us to the end of the show.
And yeah, that's it from us too. So if you think you've got what it takes to sit here in the studio, go out into the field, step up to the plate, get in touch by either email or Facebook, and get yourself on the show.
Yeah, and as it's become traditional to indulge ourselves in a bit of shameless self-promotion here at UOCTV, if you're not following either of us yet on Twitter, here's a very last plug. If you want to follow me on Twitter, it's @FinnHD. You can find me on various other platforms as well. If there's any producer out there, please hire me. I'm a very good worker.
So, excuse me. If you want to find me, it's @PLeCamp. I'm on there all the time. Yeah. So that's it from us. We've all enjoyed ourselves on the show.
Yeah, we did.
I'd like to thank you, Finn, for being my cohort.
I'd like to thank me for making your experience on TV so pleasant.
I'd like to thank you for that as well.
Yeah.
I'd like to thank all the guys.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed watching the show. UOCTV will be back though towards the end of September 2013, but this is the very last time you'll see pretty faces like this on the show. So it's one final emotional farewell. I'm not gonna cry.
Okay. We'd like to thank you very much for watching. Tune in next year for the next wave of presenters, a new and improved UOCTV. But for me and Finn and all the team here
and
at UOCTV,
and all the team, all
goodbye.
Of the
Thank you
people
very
in the
much.
room. Goodbye. Yeah, I mean, mean, that's it for me. I don't know what comes next for me. I've got no real plan, so if you need someone to present, I can act as well, you know, I can do happy, I can do sad, I can do angry, I can do everything, so I can even like shoot something for you. I'm not too good with the camera, I'm a good editor, I'm a good director, I can write scripts for you, I'm bilingual. If you need someone to learn a second language, I'm fluently in German, speak a bit of French, a tiny bit of Spanish, so I can teach children, I can even like do other things. I'm not so good with maths, but I can do a bit of history as well if you need a history teacher. So you see, I've got so many talents. I can